Evelyn remains perfectly still, an absent-minded expression on her face, her eyes pointing toward nowhere in particular. Are you okay? That's what I wanted to ask. Evelyn? Hey, you alright? She blinks a couple of times, as if she had just awoken from a daydream. Then her lips part to reveal words that I could never have predicted. I feel like something terrible has just happened. Wow, come on, isn't that a bit harsh? He wasn't that bad. I don't think she's talking about the music. I wish she was. Over the opposing team, I mean. I apologize. Huh? What do you... Valerie is cut off by a voice that we did expect to return eventually, but with words quite different from last time. Words that should have made me jump with joy. Right now, leave me with nothing more than utter confusion. The truth game has now concluded. Oh no. Oh no. The winner is answer Team A. The doors to the exit have been unlocked. Please make sure to gather all your belongings and prepare to depart at your earliest convenience. After the voice disappears, we remain frozen for a little while longer. It's almost comedic how generic that entire message sounded. Like we're in some game show and we simply won the big prize. Please take your money and leave. Instead of money, there's only pain. The internship of games. How did she know? How did she know? As I simply continue to stare ahead, Valerie's mouth begins to move, only briefly. Evelyn, how did you know? I didn't. Not like this. Not like this. Takes a deep breath, trying to regain at least some of her usual composure. There's nothing but a vague feeling. Somewhere deep down, I felt that something had happened. To my sister, that is. Well, that kind of timing, it can't have been a coincidence, can it? I suppose not. Perhaps it is true what they say about twins, how they are connected from birth by an invisible bond, how they can communicate from beyond time and space. God, there's so much going on here that we still have yet to unpack. It can't be the end. Evelyn and... Evelyn, Elizabeth, Emilia. Waking up from our direct transfer and feeling like there was a... Evelyn's smile reminding Adrian of Emilia's. Evelyn, Elizabeth linked to some degree. Telepathy, huh? God damn it, give me a break. The Emilia thinking about the play, the doppelgangers trading places, the... God, God damn it, give me a break. She's upset but not angry. Not at Evelyn for bringing it up. Not like she's a better explanation for what just happened. Not like I do. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that Evelyn was clearly right. Something must have happened to her sister. That can only mean one thing. So they died? The other team? All of them? He starts to reply without delay, before changing her mind after all. I guess so. Valerie takes care of it for her, so all she has left to do is nod. I thought so. The final nail in the coffin for my theory. I mean, I got exactly what I wanted. We won. Before Nathan reached Sophie's team and at that. Before she found out. That's what I wanted anyway. That's why I came up with my theory in the first place, but I was wrong. Seeing Sophie again was simply never an option. No matter how hard I tried to come up with a story that would lead to a happy ending for every character involved, it was never meant to be. She was always destined to die. But why? Why is this the way it ends? How did we win? We didn't even solve anything. Me playing guitar couldn't have been the solution we were looking for this entire time, right? It's absurd. That's just plain stupid. What kind of truth is that supposed to be? So, why? Why did it have to happen now, of all times? Lay down on the guitar next to me on the sofa. Why even bother? Could have thrown the damn thing against a wall, and yet that's what I decided to do. My head has been filled with conflicting emotions this entire time, but now it's worse than ever. Look at Evelyn, who's just as quiet as I am. How does she feel right now? Is what I wonder. Is what I want to ask. How do you feel? Is what I ask. Hey! Huh? Me? I nod. She averts her eyes, unsure what to say. Are you sad or relieved? I wonder. Suppose if I had to pick between the two, I'm sad. Wonder if a word exists that would describe my feelings more accurately, however. I'm sure. There are a lot of words. Finding the right ones is the toughest part. How do I feel about all this? How do I feel about killing Sophie? The exact thing I wanted to accomplish. The exact thing I had just given up on. I'll never find the words to describe this feeling. Instead, I simply stand up, my eyes fixated on the door leading to our freedom. Apparently. You want to head out? I shrug. Dunno. Do you? Yeah, of course you do. Right now, Valerie's the only person in the room who hasn't just lost someone close to her. Being that lucky comes at a cost, though. The cost of not knowing how she should act around us. Whether it's alright for her to just leave. We meet back up with Emilia and go home. She's standing here for the simple reason that she's worried about anything else. She's worried anything else would seem insensitive. Valerie, for all the shit she's given me today, she's not without empathy. She's not a terrible garbage person. She's not me, after all. Simply the situation that made her behave the way she did, I'm sure. This overwhelming mess we got caught up in. God, honestly, she's really similar to you and Emilia. Well, not in his feeling, with, not with his feelings in terms of Sophie and learning the truth about him and Emilia. None of that shit, but more like the social interaction, social graces, withdrawn from society sort of thing, awkward feelings about themselves. It's why they all kind of came together in a certain way. There's a place in the world right here where Valerie and Adrian could be friends. I can't blame her at all. I nod ever so faintly. It's me who's wasting her time. I guess I'm ready. Let's go. Yes, let us depart. I doubt idling about here even longer would do us any good. Yeah, guess so. Exchanging a couple more glances, we slowly but surely move toward the door. Behind it, the familiar side of the hall meets with the unfamiliar side of an open door. Oliver is nowhere to be seen, and yet it's there, waiting for us to step inside. And so, without delay, we continue moving toward it. It's really over, huh? Is it? For some reason, I don't feel quite as optimistic as her. No, the closer we step toward this supposed exit, the tighter my chest begins to feel, an increasing amount of dread filling my heart to the brim, just waiting for it to burst. Will this door really lead us outside? Will Noel really let us go as if nothing happened? Where is he, anyway? Not even going to give us some final goodbyes? Something about this doesn't sit right with me. Like he's up to something. Even if he isn't, even if everything we've been told is the truth, it just means that I will inevitably run into Emilia. Probably soon. What will I say once I do? What am I supposed to say? What would the right thing say? What would the right thing to say be? No, much more importantly, what do I want to say? I don't know. I don't know the answer to any of these questions. I only know that I'm terrified of what's to come. With that knowledge, we wordlessly arrive at the front of the door, staring at the small chamber within. I hesitate to take the first step, but so do they, until Evelyn decides to speak up. Are the two of you ready? Valerie steps forward without replying. Evelyn looks at me before we do the same. It's a tight fit, but we make it work, more or less. At first, nothing happens. No announcement telling us that unauthorized signals have been detected or anything like that. And then after a short wait, the door slides shut behind us. Complete and utter darkness envelops us. These mere moments between the outer door closing and the inner door opening up, I finally managed to feel somewhat at ease. Finding the truth never mattered, did it? And so, I wipe my log once more. It's fine, I'll be alright. I don't need this. It's never gotten me anywhere. I checked it 104 fucking times today alone. Yet what good did it really do me? What good could it ever do me? Well, not like I'll ever forget these past few hours. Better for worse, I never will. A gap starts to form in the front of us, and light from beyond begins to seep in. I close my eyes. Thank you for everything, Sophie. No matter what awaits me beyond this door, I promise I will live. The both of us. Oh! Wow. That's a lot to unpack. That is a hell of a lot to unpack. But oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, he did it. He turned around and... If he gained anything from this experience, God, it still feels like, it still feels like every time Adrian takes a step forward character-wise, he firmly plants 1 foot backwards. It's bloody consistent where he seems to be going. Character-wise, he can't get out of his own way, get out of his own head fully. Maybe he's wiping his log to forget about everything he came through here, just wanting to forget about the whole meant to kill Sophie thing. Oh? Oh? Sophie? Good morning, me. Whoever invented the concept of standing up before noon? You're probably already dead. Fuck you anyway. Did it have to be 10 a.m.? Did he even bother to ask? If late at work too? Of course not. They could have told him to come around at 7 in the morning and he'd have been all, yeah, sure, sounds good. I shouldn't complain. I've been trying to get an appointment with that bastard for years. But anything, I can still barely believe that Adrian, of all people, ended up being the one to get on their nerves long enough for them to give in. Really kept pestering that seller all this time, huh? Poor employee that had to keep replying. Definitely not paid well enough for this bullshit. Wonder if it'll be worth it in the end. I've given up on getting an appointment with him for a while now. Not only was it a hassle, I had also just started to doubt that I'd even get anything out of talking to him. Meeting with that shut-in won't bring her back. If he had the means to, he probably could have pulled those strings by now. He'd cared enough to do, well, anything really. He would have reached out to me by himself. Instead, he took the easy way out. Cut himself off from the world like the garbage father he's always been. Couldn't care for her when she was still here. Why would that change now, right? Still, that Adrian's finally got his hands on him, it wouldn't hurt to go see him. Nothing else, I'll at least get a chance to tell him what I think of him straight to his stupid face. Well, I don't know how stupid it is. Guess it depends on how much Leah takes after him. I've already wasted 10 minutes lying around. Come the fuck on. Alright, I can't keep Adrian waiting. I'll have to put this much effort into securing this opportunity for us. Oh, not for us. For me, of course. All for my sake, as he said. Yeah. Does she know? If it wasn't so sad, it'd almost be kind of funny. How after all this time, he still thinks I don't know. Gah! Oh, we don't even get to see. Reset progress. Reset progress. Very curious. Oh, so we get a hint of Sophie at the end here. Gosh. At the end of it all, we get Sophie. Did she really die? It's hard to say. What is the true story of Evelyn and Emilia? Also hard to say. Is that a curiosity? Would it be a shame if we forgot about each other? Taken, wasted life I was given. Those are definitely lines from Emilia. Very curious. Interestingly, there's a path where you can say, "You're simply stunning to look at." Oh, is that so? Her expression remains unfazed. My natural response would have been one of utter disgust. Hell, I'm disgusted myself. I seem to sense that I'm not being entirely sincere, that I'm just trying to dodge the question. I don't need to anymore, do I? After all, I've already made my choice. Alright. It's curious that when you don't check your log, when Adrian starts zoning out, you get little bits of dialogue that stops you and say, "Hey, wait, I'm losing focus," to prompt you to do something, but you don't have to. You can just keep progressing onward. And I'm very curious about the trigger here, because I just progressed onward without checking the log. Anyways, and when we first played this, curiously, Adrian's like self-censored here. Although maybe if this is a worse outcome, Adrian thinks about, He specifically mentioned, reminds us of Emilia's smile. Let's keep going and see if anything else changes. This is also curious. We've been ignoring our log. We kind of got a better outcome at the end, didn't we, from so aggressively checking our log? Because again, yeah, I wonder if we can lose. Because on my main playthrough, when we were checking our log aggressively, we stopped Valerie and told her directly. The door closes behind them, and I'm left feeling slightly uneasy. Maybe I should have said something. I don't know. Too late now. Let's get dry again. I shake my head as if to discard any lingering worries I might have and finally enter the bathroom. Alright. First of all... Yep. You're a fucking idiot. You really thought I hadn't figured out that you knew Emilia yet? No, I pretty much expect you to know at this point, but yeah. Sorry. Sighs. At least I've told her in person, but I felt like she would kill me after lying about it this entire time. It's whatever. I'd love to give you a piece of my mind right now, but let's be real. We got much more important things to worry about. Let's see if this changes anything. Unless I should have thought this way sooner. Okay, so we're back to here. Alright, back to normal. It's curious. Checking our log religiously really warms Valerie up to us more. And at least it makes Adrian act more proactively to warm Valerie up to us. Huh. Could help us, alright. Great. I'll hold on praising him until it manages to get us out of here. For now, Yep. Huh. If you have any bright ideas, feel free to keep them to yourself. That's what you do best, right? And she's gone, slamming the door shut behind her. Ethel and I simply remain in place, sitting in silence, while she stares at the table, making a troubled expression. She speaks up. I really like your theory. Not because it makes perfect sense, regrettably it doesn't, but because it's more hopeful than any other I can think of. A solution like that would let all of us return to our respective lives as if nothing ever happened. Almost too good to be true, because it probably isn't. Oh. Should I start to believe that there was a chance for us to reunite after all? I don't know if I could take the disappointment should your theory turn out to be wrong. You've that Valerie has similar reasons for being so defensive about this. As long as any uncertainty remains, neither of us can accept this truth. I hope you understand. You simply nod in silence. She's right. With the truth, so never for her to die. Yep. I lied to myself this entire time. Right? What happens here? I'm still gonna play. She's clearly unhappy about her inability to do anything, especially after complaining about how much time we just wasted. I understand how she feels, I really do. I don't feel the same. Not quite. She's worried about never knowing when it might be too late. I know that it already is. Are you still gonna play? Right? Are we still gonna win? It's still me. Take a deep breath. Begin to move. Music starts to fill the room. Wish you could have heard this, Sophie. Even if you never will, I'm still glad I did this. Now let's see. Well, that was pretty good, actually. She's trying really hard not to hurt my feelings. Can't tell she didn't like it. You know, she has enough empathy left to realize that this isn't the right time for honest opinions and criticism. Despite knowing that she's lying, I'm grateful for her words. Thanks. That silence returns. Point to ignore in particular. Are you okay? So I want to ask. And we don't, yeah. Checking our log. Yeah, that's the only time we've ever seen her so teared up. What if we... Let's skip ahead. So, my log. Not like I paid much attention to it. Barely even glanced at it. Checked it, what, 10 times today? Wow. Can't believe I was ever worried about losing access to this thing. I'll never forget these past few hours. Better or worse, I never will. Alright. Close my eyes. Think everything, Sophie. Promise I will live. For the both of us. That is really interesting. In a small way, like actually checking their log and being present in conversations improves your relationship with Valerie. And is really a net benefit to you, Adrian, to begin with. Even if Adrian is always feels like he's theoretically taking one step back. It's such a small difference, but still such a big one that I feel goes a long way for his character. So even if you're still closed off and deep down inside, you could still Even if he still struggles to like open up and speak honestly, the fact that he was still able to like think it, and then speak it near the end, and the best path is quite a honestly good sign. So I will walk back some of my thought about Adrian taking a step backwards. It's in the way he's still closed off and all that, but at least in the good path, he's at least learned to play with others, to do the social graces, and like coexist more openly with others. And it's quite something. And it's quite a difficult skill, but a good skill. It's also a thing that he was discussing so prominently with Emilia, right? Was how do I put this? It really rolls forward again, precisely what he was talking about with Emilia. In the how did she put this? She didn't know how to start conversations, so she went back through her log, started reading about how other people talked about similar things and tried to mimic that until it worked. She didn't know how to say things, how to talk to herself, and all that, how to talk about herself and all that, but she just sort of faked it till she made it. She tried what worked and then just kind of went from there, and just stumbled her way shyly into being a charming and lovely person to be around. She still had her awkward graces, but she still... I think we can discard all of my concerns about anything bad happening between them. I think they still very much had their intimate relationship to some degree. She had honest feelings for him. He might have had honest feelings for her. They didn't quite work out in that way. So, yeah, so, okay. I don't think the timelines, like, overlapped the way I was thinking earlier. I think it was just more vertical, and just Adrian deleted more of that part of his life than he made out. It's like this was the true path to Adrian changing. It's like reflecting on himself and actively wanting to try and do better in that regard. While the biggest influence in his life before that point was two friends who went out of their way to talk to him and sort of dragged him out of his comfort zone, his status quo. And in time when they left, he went back into his status quo. It's just Emilia got closer than Sophie ever did, and so when we still don't know what exactly led to them like going their own separate ways. Like, were they some indeterminate relationship status? And when Emilia started talking about this Sophie gal that she was getting to know, also Sophie's hair is really pretty. Gosh diddly dang. Now that we see her in color, gosh diddly dang. I'll just put up this here. We've seen this epilogue before. This also confirms my suspicion that Sophie is the main character of the next chapter. Because we still don't actually see. Sophie already knows. Oh, for my sake, I said, yep. Still thinks I don't know. What does that mean for them, though? I'm very curious. I'm in pure. Does this bug up the log? Huh. Okay, so we like get 2 lines of rollback. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we get 2 lines of rollback here. No, we get more. Huh. Maybe it's 2 lines of 1, 2, 3. Curious. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for here, but I don't think there's anything we can really do with that. But I think we can realistically call this a day here. This has been a hell of a thought-provoking journey. And gosh diddly dang it, I'm excited to see Is it like this is the outcome here? Like there's no other way around that. In case you're curious, if you don't check your log at all during the bit with Oliver here after being choked out and hallucinating, you just sort of get like the forced recap of all the bit. You still get the same, thanks for the message, haha, hope it helps, and then just Adrian says to himself, not really. Let's see, what happens if we don't check it at all? I mean, I paid much attention to it anyways, barely even glanced at it. Checked it, what, 2 times today? Wow. Oh, does that default to, like, are there, like, scripted times that count to it? So I definitely did not open my log. I only opened my save menu, like, once. Does opening the save menu count? We're just experimenting at this point before I go into some kind of final theory. Okay, 2 times today. There must be like forced times when we check our log. Alright, we're gonna call it here. God, there's a lot to think about here still. I suppose the first question we should try and address is, why did Answer Team A win? And vague theory about that. I don't know if I can answer it completely and competently yet, but I think to do that, we have to ask the question of, why was Noel... It came up in the story, but the question of being asked was, why was Noel never facing them when addressing them? And we know that Answer Team A and Answer Team B were on the opposite sides of each other, so Noel wouldn't be facing Answer Team B either. Noel was side profile facing ahead. I think Noel was facing the question team. So the game only ended when the the question team came to a conclusion here. So, which means, what did we hear about before? Well, we know that Emilia found a picture in her filing cabinet of herself and a guy. They couldn't get it open again, but it may or may not have been Adrian. The other picture with Adrian, the one where she was smiling in it. And we found the other one of those pictures in this space, in our filing cabinet. Which means what was in Sophie's? What was in answer team B's? We know that Oliver took the picture with him to show to Emilia. And ultimately, is that what eventually led to some kind of memory reveal which counted as winning the game? I don't know. I think that's the theory I'm going to hang on right now. Unless there's more going on and both teams were able to survive somehow. But that also raises the question. God, that also raises the question of what's the deal with Evelyn and Elizabeth? I've always had thoughts about them, but I never really had the way of putting it into words. I mean, like, Evelyn and Elizabeth weren't late in the game, they just worked for Neuralink. I think the part that stood out to me most about Evelyn was waking up from our memory transfer, seeing Evelyn smiling at us, and thinking, wow, that smile reminds me of the picture that we took with Emilia. That reminds me of Emilia's smile. Are they... If they aren't androids... If they aren't androids, are they clones? But no, we would have recognized them further if they were clones, right? This in the title screen here, this has to be Emilia herself, right? Gosh. The mirror... I would say that the mirror itself is a major theme in this game. Because... certainly, as a vehicle for self-reflection, the mirror is a significant theme, I would say. And here we see Emilia staring at herself in the mirror in what's clearly the same style of bathroom that we had in our zone. Which, yeah, there's a ton of unanswered questions. There's a ton of unanswered questions yet. Like, we know to some degree Emilia's backstory. Mother and father, I don't think she was with them. So mother and father outside the city, hit with a car bomb. We're all injured. Valerie and her mother were there. Her mother took the brunt of the blast for Valerie and died. So Dr. Neiman paid for Valerie's just aggressive surgery and artificial limbs. And while Valerie was recovering, Emilia... I almost want to read through that part again, just to make sure I got it. 2 points. Okay, so a few points to go over here. Emilia was 12 when she was in that accident. Her mother and father were both injured, so she visited the hospital to visit them. That's when she met Valerie, who was 5 at the time. So there's age difference there. And if Emilia and Valerie... It's never really clear where Adrian is in relation to them, but if... Like, we can assume that if they were in... Because if college being referenced as anything like American-style college where you can sign... There's a non-zero chance that you can always sign up for it after the... later on in life, skip years directly out of high school, so there might still be an age difference between her and Adrian, but I suppose it's less likely. Adrian's in college now. I don't remember if we ever... Oh. Okay, it's not search engine style. It does. Can we... Okay, so it's not really 100% reliable searching. It won't register old. We don't know how old Adrian is in relation to them. There's also a point where Emilia went from natural brown hair to dyed blonde hair. Apparently, if the... so we don't really see how they're directly related, but... is relevant. We can presume that Adrian met Emilia in her blonde phase. Don't really know if that's relevant to anything yet. There is really a theme about doppelgangers involved here too. Doppelgangers and twins specifically, whether that's making Emilia reflect on her life as far as if someone else had taken her place, lived her life in the same circumstances, would they still feel the same? Would they act differently? How would they be different than that? If I had more time to put all my thoughts together, I might be able to produce a more coherent theory, but... remembering of things from a previous life. The Anamnesia referenced here might just be exactly how... This might, in the end, circle back to how exactly it was laid out. Where all of the doubts and uncertainties in Emilia's life leading up to that last night of memory with Adrian and the play about the doppelgangers trading places ultimately lives down to, is she still her without her Neuralink? When did she get her Neuralink out? Would it have caused her to forget? She was still missing for 2 years from Sophie's life, too, before the game started. Was there something odd about the timing that led to? Adrian being so hung up over keeping this from Sophie. We still don't know that missing gap of memories. And it might be for the best that we don't know. For the best for Adrian that we don't know. If it really was bad, we definitely don't want to dwell on that. That's very much a thing I don't want to recklessly speculate about. Tentative, theoretical, hypothetical evidence seems to suggest that it was not as bad. Was not completely. I don't know. I can't let go of that, though. That nightmare sequence was too vivid to say that it wasn't bad. Or did that stem from... Did that stem from just his self-image and his natural attitude in relation to it? I don't know. I don't want to speculate. But it's just, doesn't seem like the impression the rest of that relationship gives off. Like, you could just as easily say that Adrian purged that part of his memory so as to forcibly get himself out of the way, knowing that she was getting together with Sophie. I don't know. But... gosh. There is... that triangle there. Whatever the case, has to be the key. Maybe this Eric has connections to the Anamesia cult. If that's an actual thing that was brought on here. We still don't know what happened in the 2 years since. We still don't know how we won. It's a lot to have to leave hanging, so to speak. It's a lot to leave hanging. God, I've been recording for 3 hours and I don't really know what I want to say. I keep coming back to that memory. I don't want to dwell on that, though. I still wonder if there's some overlap between... It's like there's a very clear divide. Yeah, I think it's enough to conclude that Emilia got her Neuralink removed, and that is causing her very thorough amnesia. Maybe she knew she was going to get it removed. Although, I don't know. Can we say that for sure, though? If it is true, it would have affected all this. She's also studying parapsychology. The the more answers we think we have, the more questions that keep cropping up. It has to be intentional. It has to be very intentional. Even jostling my theory about how we won, being that Oliver took the picture of Adrian and Emilia back to the question team hangar. And that eventually triggered some kind of truth. She discovered a picture of herself with herself and another guy there. We don't know that if that other guy was Adrian, if that was the other picture that they took. Maybe both of them together made something click. I don't know, but I feel like the winning came from the question team. That's what decided that they had won. So thanks, Oliver. But, gosh. Does this at least confirm that, there is some degree... Does this at least confirm that next chapter will be from Sophie's perspective, as I suspected? Like, the Zero Time Dilemma, 3 teams separated from each other, influence is very clear, so if the story is in fact divided into 3 parts, then yeah, it'd be very clear to focus on the 3 in this sort of love triage here. Adrian, Sophie, and at the center, Emilia. Is there a doppelganger Emilia? I don't think so. The answer to the doppelganger Emilia thing was that just Adrian scrubbed a large part of his timeline. To the point where, because when Adrian and Emilia were getting close, they went to the theater together. Maybe started getting together friends with benefits style as a thing that Emilia wanted to do before she forgot. Yeah, like, not to keep retreading that point. As bad as that dream felt, might have just been just because his image of himself was so darn low that just it felt dirty. There's also still the question of, like, his self-image is so darn low that he would not exactly say no to stand up for himself if he really didn't want to. So then could have been just a communication thing that had gone wrong, and he hated it after the fact. Communication matter in that something she wanted to do, and he was there, and he did not say no, which is not any form of honest consent, especially for him, who's painfully incapable of standing up for himself, speaking for himself, speaking his mind. Yeah. So we've circled back to not malicious or predatory, but more uncomfortable, and I don't even want to talk about that anymore. I shouldn't be talking about that, but right, he described them as friends with benefits. I don't know. What do you think? Because in the end, he described it to Evelyn as friends with benefits. So, possibly it happened more than once. He still did not look back on that favorably. He still recalled like every little detail of those encounters, but he did not look back on it favorably. And his dream does not give me good vibes on that matter, so uncomfortable, could not say no, just as is his personality, his attitude. At the time, could not say no for the life of him. If anything, the good growth he gets by checking his log and communicating well is like at least the ability to speak his mind and speak for himself just a bit more. So it's just a... Gosh. Sorry, You know, you know you're good when I can't stop wanting to sit here and pontificate and try and piece together things and piece everything to make everything fit together cleanly in my mind. Just I want to solve it. I want to. Can we solve it with what we know now? I don't think we can. I think we can come up with some very solid theories, but yeah, like it could just have easily have been a case of Emilia started to audition for the drama club, got some small roles, then her first big break. Who does she meet after the show but a very fiery, hot-headed, passionate gal named Sophie? Comes over and says, "Damn, you're beautiful." And things develop beyond that point in what may very well have been a similar way to with Adrian, since she's just as shy and awkward around people as Adrian, but she just sort of masks better. And Sophie has that no fucks given style where she just will drag you into friendship and then some kicking and screaming just because she's not about to say it. Just she will be blunt and speak and tell you what you need to know, tell you what she thinks. She won't hold back. She is great. And if next chapter is from her perspective, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. So, if I keep going about this for any longer, I'm gonna keep talking myself in circles. Let's be real here. But, yeah. Well, any last thoughts? Cult of Anamnesia, past life recall. Emilia likely getting her Neuralink removed. What's her dad's involvement, Captain Shut-In? Evelyn has very strong thoughts about Professor Neiman. Very strong, respectful, passionate thoughts about Professor Neiman. Almost like creator? Dad? Both? so much to break down about Evelyn, too. The doppelgangers. Trading places. The androids who care of her. Now I want to look up their backstory. Now I want to look up their backstory, too. Shit, hang on. Note of curiosity here. In all honesty, I don't... You cook often, huh? In all honesty, it's not much as I used to. I was once in charge of cooking for my family. In recent years, there has no longer been much need for that. I do so rather infrequently, more for pleasure than out of necessity. We also know that, Emilia had androids at home who, so to speak, were there more often than her parents, than her father. Oh, she still came back home to see on occasion. Now it's a different situation because Evelyn and her sister clearly described graduating and going to work for Neuralink. I'm not saying I'm just completely holding out for my Evelyn and Emilia theories. But it's a thought there. It's a thought there because we have one E there. We have one character who knew Emilia to some degree. And we have one outsider. Valerie, Oliver, Eric. There's something to that? I don't know. I also should point out that Emilia didn't recognize Sophie. She didn't recognize the picture she found in her filing cabinet. But the picture that we found of Adrian and Emilia is what led to Evelyn recognizing that what we weren't telling them, Oliver brought back, and it's a non-zero chance that that's what Emilia recognized. If in fact the game ended because Emilia remembered, or at least if Emilia had some kind of successful recall. Don't know. But, okay. Alright, I'm done. Alright, on that note, I think we've seen everything we're about to see in here. Little variations that can come from checking your log versus not checking it. Even if it ends in the same way with us wiping out the log of everything we just went through here. Maybe that's a good sign. Once again, it's like such a contradiction going on in Adrian's head. There's a chance he might start living his life in a planet by year sense. Living his best life. As opposed to living in his logs. It's a good question. We'll see. We will see. So we will see you down the line next as we move on to something else, and we will wait eagerly to see how this team does progressing on with the next part. As they commented on part 1, saying that development of part 2 is struggling along. Writing is hard. Yes, that's understandable. So felt. But I wish you the best in that. This was captivating. This was genuinely captivating. Just, God, I really enjoyed this. I hope you did too. Listen to me prattle on and rambling incoherently for 3 hours at this point. The last 3 parts of this playthrough were recorded in sequence because it was just that hooked. That's 3 hours of my life, and it was worth it. So, until next time, until then, don't forget. Live in the moment. Keep your memories and The people you care about deeply, keep them close to you, treasure them. And I will see you then. And, of course, always remember, even if you aren't perfect at the thing, even if you don't really know what you're doing with the thing, even if you feel like what you're doing doesn't matter, keep doing it. Someone, somewhere, will recognize that effort. Even if it's not you who's recognizing that effort, even if it feels pointless or hopeless because you're not gonna hit it. Even if it feels like you're not going anywhere, keep at it. Keep at it, keep working, keep doing it. If it brings you any joy, just fucking do it. Write that cringe face of fan fiction. If you enjoy doing it, do it. If we've learned anything from Adrian's story and his interactions with Sophie, don't let yourself get in the way of your enjoyment, of your own enjoyment. Just do the thing. Don't let yourself convince you that other people are going to judge you for being cringe. Fuck it. We're all a bit cringe. And you know what? That just makes us that much better. Live it. Enjoy. Live it. Own it. Enjoy it. And thrive. Make something cool for me, will you? And I'll do the same for you. Until next time, until then.